Okay, well, so I have sanded and cleaned out this whole back area. So what I'm going to do now is wipe this down with mineral spirits, and then starting at about this light area in the back, I'm going to paint the entire thing with this stuff, rust reformer. So let's get some rubber gloves and wipe this whole area down. So I've got a kind of a roughed in fiberglass area there. Doesn't matter because this whole area is going to get sound insulation and be covered with stuff. But you can see how there's surface rust all over this, and so that's why this area is going to be painted black. All right, so I'm going to find a place for this, how about up here? Find a place for this camera while I do all this, and it's gonna probably be right here. All right, that is the mineral spirits. Right, I should be able to do, let's see, I should be able to do the entire ceiling, and then probably some of this may need a little sanding because that'll be exposed, but I should be able to do basically kind of from here back of this whole top part, and then this entire rear quarter section with the heater pipes and this, that'll all be painted black here. So I'm just going to let this mineral spirits dry off, and all right, well, let's see if I can get some of this black here. Okay, that's 3 cans. All right, so I have painted the entire interior of this. So now I have overspray on it, but that should just be dust. But I painted the entire interior here with rust reformer, so it's all black, including the heater channels. Then I redid the inside of each of the wheel wells, and I'm going to tape those off. Or right around where the fender bolts are. I painted the inside of this engine compartment, but I ran out of the rust reformer, so I need to get a few more cans of that, and I will get up under this ridge here, because the water, this is where the water goes in and it gets in this little channel and it flows down, so I definitely want to have rust reformer in there. Again, I did these wheel wells, and then so the dash I have painted just there was surface rust kind of coming up the side here, so the rust reformer paint dries nice and flat because it's pretty liquidy, so I went ahead and put that on the dash as well as all on the roof, which will be all covered by the headliner. Then what I did is I finished cleaning off the roof, and I did one coat of primer on to the roof here. I just want to see how it does. Hopefully that will be fine. Basically what I did is I used sandpaper to rough up all of the clear coat and get down to the base coat, and so it all looked like it was scuffed up. And so what I'm doing is I'm in places where there's rust, I go over it with the rust reformer. Then in places where there's not rust, it's either scuffed down so that the clear coat is off or roughed up or whatever, or it's down to some kind of metal Bondo combo like this. Then that gets white primer, and the reason for that is that the white primer, to minimize how much Lotus white paint I have to use, if I make everything nice and white, the Lotus white goes over it nicely. So you can see I'm just trying to get primer over this, and I've got to go to Lowe's and get a couple more cans of rust reformer, maybe 2-3 cans of rust reformer, and then probably like 10 cans of white primer. And I've also sanded down this area here where I put another layer of regular Bondo on top of the fiberglass Bondo, and I think it's good enough. I sanded this down to make the edges as good as I sort of could. If you look here, right, remember this is where I came down with this Bondo, and I like the contour of this, it's pretty good. So once this is painted, so I think I'm going to come down here with some masking tape and plastic or paper or something like that, and then from here down, this will all be this heater channel, and everything here will be Lotus white, but then under the wheel well I'll leave this black. So I'm getting everything dirty on the inside of this where I had already painted. Plus I had some issues here where some of the primer had I guess welled up and got so thick that it's not drying properly. So I've got to figure out, at least it's coated with something. I figure eventually it'll dry, or I'll go over this with a bunch of mineral spirits and get that out. But you can see, like here for example, the primer wasn't dry when I put the Lotus white on, and then it split, doing some weird behavior. So it's all about patience, I guess, when it comes to painting, and I don't have enough of it. But that being said, I have my Y tubes nicely welded in place. All of this is looking really pretty good, I gotta say. I will also have to go over this with seam sealer, which I have 2 tubes of it. So I'm just gonna make sure that the seams, there's still some of the old factory seam sealer, but I'll just make sure when I go through all of this, I'm just gonna go through with the 2 tubes of seam sealer and just seal it all up. So this front area here, I also put a coat of primer on, and it looks okay. Other than, in the windows here, there's a little bit of cracking, but that's going to be covered by the rubber, so I don't have to care that much about what's inside of this, these little window openings. So, all right, well, that's my progress for now. I have 2 spots here I've got to plug up. So here in the same spot on the other side, and I'm thinking I might actually get lazy and just fill that with fiberglass Bondo. I don't know, I could weld something on there, but then I deal with all the sort of the impact of having welded that, and so I have this one over here as well, so I might just plug that up with the fiberglass Bondo and be done with it. So that's my Lowe's trip, is 1 can of fiberglass Bondo, 3 cans of rust reformer, about 10 cans of white primer, and then we'll go from there. I'm letting this dry for now.